Now at 9, we have some tips to prepare your home ahead of dangerously low temperatures coming up this week. Plus,
the January 6th committee issues criminal referrals for former President Trump. I'm Mather Rivera in Washington with what went down at their final public meeting coming up.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. We have some dangerously cold weather, also snow chances moving in later this week. Let's go straight to meteorologist Sam Lane. Sam?
Thank you very much. Yes, cold weather moving into our area on top of some snow. We'll get to that in the forecast. But first, let's take a look at tonight. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 30s down to 29 degrees by tomorrow morning. And then as we go through the forecast, we're going to see temperatures dropping, like I said, to very dangerous levels as we go through the forecast. So you'll want to stay tuned for the entire details in just a little bit.
All right, Sam, thanks so much as always. As those temperatures drop, homes that aren't weatherized can get uncomfortable, also expensive to heat. KOAM's Yana Atala talked with the Economic Security Corporation, also an apartment complex manager in Joplin, for some tips on keeping our homes warm.
During the winter, Economic Security Corporation in Joplin gets phone calls from clients saying they need help paying high heating bills or heating their homes. It is important to keep your home warm energy efficiently.
Open blinds and curtains when it's sunny outside and let some of that heat get inside. Try to alleviate some of the use of the furnace.
Matt Daniels says you should insulate hot water pipes to reduce heat loss. He often wraps water heaters with an insulation jacket.
That just keeps the water in the water heater, keeps it warmer longer. So your water heater's not having to run as long or as much.
Leaving your faucet tripping overnight can prevent your pipes from freezing.
I send out a message whenever it's going to get below freezing to all the tenants and let them know to leave their faucets dripping at night and their cabinet doors open so the heat goes into the cabinets to keep their pipes from freezing.
Tanya Beckley is the manager for the Aspen Park Apartments. She makes sure the windows are tightly closed and doors have weather stripping.
Also, if they turn the ceiling fan to where it's blowing down, the opposite of how they have it in the summertime, it kind of blows the hot air down from the ceiling.
Changing air filters can also make a big difference.
Replacing that and getting a new filter in there that'll have easier flow.
In Joplin, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Daniel also says usually insulation is one of the biggest factors in trying to keep that heat in, also the cold out, at least this time of year anyway. Whoever crashed a car into a Joplin home this morning fled the scene, left the car though. Around 6:30 a.m., the car went off the road, broke a utility pole, a street pole, and a stop sign that went through the wall of a brick duplex at 401 South Ozark. Now, the resident of the home was not hurt, now staying somewhere else after the Joplin building inspector deemed the duplex a dangerous building, too dangerous to live in. At least last report, police were still looking for the driver. Some four-staters may need to find a new provider for mental health care. Ascension Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh announced it is closing its behavioral health department. Officials say the reason behind the closure is a lack of funding and staffing. The hospital sent out letters to affected patients. The department is going to remain open through the end of the month. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly released her three-part plan to cut taxes more than $500 million over the next 3 years. The first part of the plan is a push to immediately end the state's sales tax on groceries. The state legislature earlier this year agrees to phase out that tax by 2025. It's going to be the first drop from 6.5% to 4% in January. The second part of the plan would create a 3-day 0% sales tax holiday on school-related supplies every August. Lastly, it would cut taxes on Social Security for retirees. Governor Kelly says she's hoping for bipartisan support to pass the bill. Staff members from the KCU Joplin Dental School today made a donation to help those in need maintain good oral health. They donated oral hygiene kits, which include toothbrushes, toothpaste, floss, to both the Ronald McDonald House and the Lafayette House. Officials with the Lafayette House say these supplies are going to last a while.
This is my first Christmas, and so it has been so heartwarming to see how many organizations and how many groups and families, individuals have come out to support Lafayette House.
Lafayette House provides supports to people dealing with domestic violence. The House Select Committee is urging former President Trump be prosecuted on at least 4 criminal charges. It's the first time a bipartisan legislative body has made such a recommendation for a former president. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reporting from D.C.
The House Select Committee investigating the Capitol riot capped off one of the most extensive congressional probes in history Monday.
Aye.
The January 6th committee is going out with a bang. They voted to refer former President Trump to the Department of Justice on a number of criminal charges, including inciting an insurrection, obstruction of an official proceeding, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and conspiracy to make false statements.
Ours is not a system of justice where foot soldiers go to jail and the masterminds and ringleaders get a free pass.
Former Trump lawyer John Eastman is also facing criminal referrals. In addition, the committee is referring Republican members of Congress to the House Ethics Committee for failing to comply with subpoenas, including Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy.
Those responsible should be held accountable.
Referrals alone carry no legal weight. The DOJ is not compelled to act, but they have noted their interest in the committee's work as they conduct their own separate investigation. It's yet another hurdle for Donald Trump's third presidential bid.
He is unfit for any office.
Members adopted their final report after an 18-month inquiry into what they've called Trump's premeditated conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election.
And today, he still continues to fan those flames. That was his extreme dereliction of duty.
What comes next is up to the Department of Justice. But the man former President Trump blasted for doing his duty and certifying the election says the DOJ shouldn't prosecute.
I think that would be terribly divisive in the country at a time when the American people want to see us heal.
The full release of the committee's final report is expected Wednesday, almost 2 years after the insurrection. In Washington, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Donald Ash served the U.S. Air Force from 1951 to 55. Native of Joplin, Ash was stationed at Kirtland Air Force Base, earning several awards. We are proud to thank and salute Donald Ash as tonight's four-state hero. Coming up, going to meet a 4-year-old girl in Oklahoma who is celebrating becoming a published author. N-O-E-L, Noel, Missouri, becomes Noel, Missouri. During the holiday season, the post office marks holiday letters with that we saw a little bit earlier, with a special stamp confirming the postage went through the Christmas city of the Ozark vacation land. This 92-year-old tradition, 92 years old, it's very special to the small town in McDonald County. The stamps are available to anyone who mails their holiday card to the post office in Noel.
And it's just an awesome time. We have folks come down for this special pictorial cancellation that we offer. We've been doing this since like 1932. It's been a long-standing tradition. We have volunteers inside the Postal Service alongside with postal employees that help give a special pictorial cancellation for this thing. It's really exciting.
Mark, nice suit, man. Wow. Postal employees and local volunteers are expected to stamp more than 40,000 holiday cards from around the world. Well, a 4-year-old girl from Utica, Oklahoma is now a published author. Her pet pony inspired her to write a book about her pony turning into a unicorn. In 4-year-old Adeline's book, Peanuts becomes a unicorn. Her parents say this is all from her imagination, and they are so proud of what's next. Reporter Kristen Weaver has more.
In 4-year-old Adeline's book, Peanut becomes a unicorn. Her parents say this is all from her imagination, and they are so proud of what's next. This little pony named Peanut is very special. 4-year-old Adeline thinks Peanut is even magical.
She has a horn.
Adeline and little Peanut have been best friends for a while now. Adeline loves reading to Peanut, so the idea to write a book about Peanut came naturally. She began by asking her mom, "What was the idea?"
To write a book.
And was it about Peanut? Adeline's mom asked her to wait until she was older, so Adeline asked again on her 4th birthday.
She was like, "I'm older, I can write a book now."
Together, parents Emily and Tyler Harold spent months helping Adeline's story come to life. They even found a local illustrator to draw the pictures.
Once the illustrations came back, we sat Adeline down and she would look them over and make corrections and pretty much design the book.
After all that hard work, Adeline became a published author, and she can now sit down and open up the book she wrote herself.
Adeline placed the horn on Little Peanut's head, and Little Peanut became a unicorn.
She was holding what she had been working so hard on.
Adeline says she knows Peanut's horn is magical.
Rainbows and stuff.
And her parents say this is just the beginning for their young author.
I think we just feel blessed to have such a special little girl and little pony and have people in this community that were willing to help us.
Good for her, right? Parents hope riding stays magical for Adeline. Sam is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, how protests in Peru leaving hundreds of tourists, including Americans, stranded.
And welcome back, everyone. It's a pretty nice evening out there across the area, including Indigo Sky Casino and Resort down in Seneca, Missouri. It's been a little bit on the chilly side the last couple of days. In fact, the high today was 43 degrees. We started out at 37, and the normals are 47 and 28. And look at that record back in 1983, a big old goose egg, and we're headed in that direction over the next few days. Let's take a look and show you what's going on as far as the radar. It's pretty much clear all across the area right now. We did have some showers move through this morning. They have now moved up to the north and east. Also, notice up to the north, there is a winter storm watch now in effect for our northern counties, and this blue area here for the rest of us is a wind chill watch, and you're going to see why. We're going to need that in just a little bit. Let's take a look and show you what's going on right now. Temperatures generally in the 30s across the area, a few 40s showing up like in Chanute and Neodesha, 42 in Independence right now, 37 in Neosho as well as Anderson. Let's take a look at what it feels like, because when you factor in the wind, it actually feels like it's in the lower 30s and upper 20s across our area. 27 in Iola, 28 in Parsons, 29 in Stockton for some of the cooler readings. Pick out your hometown, and 33 degrees down in Jay. Let's take a look and show you what's going on right now in Joplin. It's 35 degrees with an east-southeasterly wind at 6. So as a result, it feels like 30 degrees out there. The dew point is 22 and the pressure's rising with a humidity of 59%. All right, let's go on to the next map and show you what we can expect as far as the forecast. We do have a front that's going to be moving through the area that's going to be turning our winds around to a more northerly direction. And you can see generally readings tomorrow morning are going to be in the 20s to lower 30s across our area. And then as the afternoon progresses, that moves away. Winds turn around to the north and east, and we're only going to make it into the mid 30s across the area, staying in the 20s up towards the north and west, approaching 40 in places like Grove and down in Jay, with partly to mostly cloudy skies. All right, let's take a look and show you what we can expect for Tuesday night into Wednesday. We're going to stick with the clouds, but the winds are going to turn around in an easterly direction, and we'll generally be in the 20s across our area, 22 up in Garnett, 26 in Lamar, and 30 down in Pineville. Let's take a look and show you what Wednesday afternoon looks like. We're going to be rising up into the upper 30s to around 40 degrees with partly to mostly cloudy skies. But notice up to the north and west, here comes the Arctic and the Siberian blast. And if we put that in motion, you can see, let's go to the next map, and you can see that this front is going to sweep across the area very rapidly. And when it does, the winds are going to be turning around to the north and west, and we're going to see wind chills in the negative 20s with snowfall across the area as well. So it'll be kind of like a ground blizzard, and it's going to be quite a bit different. It's going to be very North Polish out there with this front system. And let's go ahead and move on. And you can see that we can expect around 2 to 4 inches of snow on Thursday with that storm system. Higher amounts to the north, lesser down to the south. And of course, this map is likely going to change over the next couple of days. So you'll need to stay tuned and keep up with it as we get closer to the event. All right, let's take a look at the forecast as far as the future feels like. This is what I'm talking about. Look at these values on Thursday morning. Not too bad at around 5:30, but then after the front moves through, temperatures are going to feel like they're in the negative 20s across our area. So extremely, even downright dangerous cold with those kind of wind chill values. All right, let's take a look at the next 7 days. After the, well, this is on Friday. You can see readings are still going to be below zero, or at least it's going to feel that way in our forecast. Over the next 7 days, we're looking at 39 on Tuesday, 42 on Wednesday, but then the bottom falls out as we go into Friday morning with a low of -5 and a high of only 8. And then as we go towards Saturday and Sunday, Christmas, cold, extremely cold. But look at there, we finally turned the corner on Monday, and it's going to be balmy, 39 degrees.
Like you said, not only cold,
yeah,
but dangerously cold.
Dangerously cold. If you're going to be outside, you have to have that parka.
No kidding.
All
Sam,
right.
we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much. All right, coming up, vacations turned upside down.
Political unrest in Peru strands hundreds of international tourists, including Americans, at the famous Inca ruins of Machu Picchu. I'm Phil Keating in Miami with all the details straight ahead.
U.S. Supreme Court today temporarily blocked an order to end a Title 42, but left open the prospect for lifting it by Wednesday. Title 42 was set to expire Wednesday. It allows for the immediate expulsion of migrants over COVID-19 concerns. Ongoing protests in Peru have left hundreds of international tourists stranded. Fox News correspondent Phil Keating has this story.
I came here to visit Machu Picchu. The government shut down and now we're stuck here.
Frustration and anxiety for hundreds of tourists stuck in the historic city of Machu Picchu and other areas of Peru.
We're really lucky that we're in Cusco and not in Machu Picchu, which you can't get out except by plane.
Trains into the city and major roadways were all blocked over the weekend due to the ongoing demonstrations following the ousting and arrest of former Peruvian President Pedro Castillo. He was taken into custody after trying to dissolve the country's Congress ahead of an impeachment vote. In response, his supporters took to the streets last week in violent protests that's left at least 20 people dead.
I don't feel 100% safe. I'll feel safe once we get the plane takes off from Lima to the U.S.
The political crisis has left thousands of international travelers stuck at airports and hotels. At Machu Picchu, the armed forces had to conduct humanitarian helicopter flights to help move some tourists and sick people out of the area. While partial rail service is expected to resume this week into the ancient city, some American tourists say that is not enough. Many are hoping the U.S. government steps in to help them make it back home for the holidays.
We have work, we've got a dog, it's Christmas, we'd like to spend that with family.
Some good news for worried travelers. The government of Peru announced that air travel will resume as of now at the largest airport in the country's southern region. Phil Keating, Fox News.
Global stockpile of cholera vaccines is nearly wiped out. World Health Organization says about 30 countries have reported outbreaks of the illness this year, but the agency says it has no more vaccines. Cholera is spread by contaminated food or water and can be deadly if untreated. All right, up next, we're going to learn about what's being called the world's first robot lawyer and how it could help lower those bills. Someone just paid big bucks to make the song lyrics, E.T., Come Visit Me, come true. Look at that. Get the eyes right there, as many of us remember. The adorable animatronic alien in Steven Spielberg's 1982 sci-fi classic, E.T., the Extraterrestrial, sold for $2.56 million at auction. The filming model was created by Oscar-winning special effects master Carlo Rambaldi in 1981. This was, of course, long before the advent of CGI. With facial expressions, neck movements, and 85 points of articulation, it was considered an engineering masterpiece at the time. I agree. All right, company that described itself as the world's first robot lawyer, I didn't know there was such a thing, but okay, creates even a newer tool that says can help lower those bills. Do Not Pay says it plans to launch its new AI-powered chatbot. In a demo, the chatbot was able to get a discount, several of them, on Comcast's internet bill through Xfinity's live chat. Now, listen to this. Pointed out problems with Xfinity's service to a customer representative, then threatened to take legal action. The rep responded by offering to take $10 off the customer's monthly internet bill. The company's CEO says the tool is going to be available to the public soon. I don't know about this robot lawyer thing. It's too much of a window for error, you know? Your Honor, my client is unequivocally, without question, guilty. 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to hear from a Missouri parent concerned about an increase in marijuana use among teens.
Elon Musk asked Twitter if he should be in charge, and Twitter users replied. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll have more on the latest drama on the social media site and if Musk will step down.
With medicinal and recreational marijuana use legal in Missouri, some parents are concerned it's going to make that more accessible to teens. Marijuana. KOAM's Jalen Banks explains.
According to the National Poison Data System, over the last 20 years, child marijuana use has gone up 245%, and one Joplin family has already been impacted and fear that they won't be the only ones now that medicinal and recreational marijuana use is legal in Missouri.
So it only takes one kid to learn how to manipulate the system for others to follow suit. And in our case, that's what happened. And really, we need to figure out as a community, how can we regulate and how can we help our children to know, for those who actually need it for medical reasons.
And marijuana use in teenagers can have ill effects on brain development.
Research has shown that, as adolescents grow and mature, their brains go through some pretty significant developmental changes. Whenever you add marijuana into the mix, that impacts that development. So they're finding that the marijuana is affecting areas of the brain responsible for like attention, memory, emotions, and motivation.
The parents also believe that more engagement with their child could help.
I do think that, one, we as parents, unfortunately, we are and we try to be very engaged and active in our kids' lives. Personally, we need to be all the more active and engaged.
Gordon also says that studies have shown that adults that use marijuana as teens are more prone to have increased depression and suicidality later in life. In Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
You can find statistics on child and teenage marijuana use on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Folks in Fort Scott, Kansas tonight had some fun at the library, some holiday fun specifically. It was the 6th annual holiday family party at the Fort Scott Public Library. There were games and activities, including crafts, scavenger hunt, snowball fight with socks even. And staying in the holiday spirit, there were also gifts.
Absolutely thrilled. It's been rough trying to help the community realize we're still here. And once they get into the habit of being home or doing other things, they might forget about the library. So this is a nice reminder that, hey, they know we're here and we're actually reaching them.
Folks there also heard holiday stories and sang some songs. Well, hiring freezes and layoffs are on the rise across the country, but people still want to quit their current jobs. 46% say they want to find a new job in the new year. That's up 5 points from Robert Half's survey just 6 months ago. It indicates noise around hiring freezes and layoffs isn't phasing some workers. They're motivated by money. The survey also finds 61% of job seekers want a higher salary. This over flexibility and perks, even willing to return to an old job if it pays more. Twitter CEO Elon Musk could be passing the reins of his newly acquired social media platform to someone else. This after he asked people to vote on whether or not he should remain the head of the company. Fox News correspondent Norm Blanchard is in D.C. and she's going to explain what's going on.
Twitter owner and CEO Elon Musk may step down as the head of the social media platform if he does what his users want. Sunday, he polled the Twitter community on what he should do, promising, "I will abide by the results of the poll." 17.5 million votes later, more than 57% said yes, step down.
A CEO publicly voting on, what a company should necessarily do. To me, as an investor, it says, here's a guy who does not have a vision.
Musk cryptically then tweeted, as the saying goes, be careful what you wish as you might get it. It's unclear who could or would succeed Musk. He still owns Twitter, meaning he will still be involved. It's been a rocky couple of weeks for Musk as advertisers have left Twitter and he's faced pushback for banning some journalists.
We said, if you'll be responsible moderators of content, we will give you immunity. They haven't been, so why should they continue to enjoy that immunity from responsibility and liability?
Musk also remains the CEO of his car company, Tesla. Senator Elizabeth Warren has sent a letter to the Tesla board chairman expressing concern in the Twitter sale. Quote, "I have a series of questions about how the Tesla board is dealing with conflicts of interest, misappropriation of corporate assets, and other actions by Mr. Musk that appear not to be in the best interests of Tesla and its shareholders." Since October, when Musk bought Twitter, shares of Tesla stock have decreased 35%. That means billions have been lost for those investors. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
A bit later, what is being called a Tiger King victory.
This is Jasmine, a 400-pound tiger that was confiscated from a private owner in Ohio. Just one example of hundreds, maybe thousands of cases where big wild cats needed to be saved. But thanks to a new federal law, tigers like Jasmine will no longer be exploited and subject to cruelty. We'll have that story coming up right after the break.
Well, we started out the day on the cold side with rain moving through the area and even a few snowflakes here and there. But that has now moved off towards the east, and now we're just left with mostly cloudy skies and colder temperatures, including in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. This afternoon in Joplin, we made it up to 43 after starting out at 37, and the normals are 47 and 28, and the records are 0 back in 1983. That was a very, very cold December, and we're going to see temperatures similar to that as we go through the forecast. First, radar is clear right now, but there is a winter storm watch that's in effect for our northern counties, and then a wind chill watch is in effect for the rest of us, and that's because of the winds that we're expecting with the frontal passage on Thursday, which is going to make it extremely dangerous to be outside exposed with the cold air in place. Our temperatures right now are chilly, 37 in Joplin, also in Nevada, Fort Scott, 40s down to the south, and Veneta with 41 right now, same thing over in Nowata. But when you factor in the wind, it feels a little bit chillier out there, 29 in Nevada and in Stockton, also Chetopa, out towards the north and west, and Yates Center, 28 degrees is what it currently feels like. In Joplin, we're sitting under mostly cloudy skies and a temperature of 35 degrees, east-southeasterly wind at 6, and so as a result, we feel like 30 degrees out there and a dew point of 22. The forecast, hour by hour, as we go through time, there is going to be a weak boundary move through tonight, and lows are going to be in the 20s and 30s across our area with those northerly winds keeping the chilly air in place. Then as we go through tomorrow, we'll still be under the influence of that front with northeasterly winds, and highs will be in the mid-30s, although up to the north and west it'll stay in the 20s in places like Yates Center and in Garnett. Then as we go through tomorrow night into Wednesday, we're going to see temperatures still in the 20s with an easterly component, maybe some 30s down to the south like in Gravette and in Jay. And then on Wednesday afternoon, we're going to see temperatures rebounding into the lower 40s, maybe a break in the clouds as well, so a little bit of sun poking through. But notice up to the north and west, here's the next front, and this is a Siberian Express. And as that moves through Wednesday night, it gets closer to us, and then Thursday morning it sweeps through the area. Winds will turn around to the north and west, gusting to maybe 50 miles per hour with snow. You kind of get the idea. It's going to feel like winter out there with the North Pole conditions, and wind chills are going to be well below 0. So it's very important to bundle up on Thursday. So with the snowfall, we're expecting around 2 to 4 inches across our area, higher amounts up to the north towards Kansas City, lesser amounts down to the south, and this map may change over the next couple of days, but right now we're expecting around 3 inches here in the metro area. Now, here's what it's going to be feeling like as we go through time. Now, Thursday morning before the front, it'll still feel like it's in the 30s, but then once the front blows through, look at these readings. Negative 25 to 26 below 0 is what it's going to feel like outside. So it's very important that you bundle up. And then Friday afternoon, temperatures will still feel like it's below 0 with very cold air. All right, here's the 7-day forecast. 39 tomorrow, 42 on Wednesday. Enjoy it. And then the bottom drops out on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And then we drop to -5 on Friday morning. And the cold air sticks with us right through the holiday weekend. A high of only 15 on Christmas. 29 on Christmas. And then we finally get a heat wave around here on Monday with yet another chance of snow, but a temperature of 39 degrees.
So snow for Christmas. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Well, it'll be on the ground because the snow we get on Thursday is not going anywhere.
Oh, too cold.
And so you have to have 1 inch of snow on the ground to be officially a white Christmas. And so that's how we're going to get it this year.
Sammy did good.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right, coming up in sports, Pitt State football player earning nomination for a national award. Plus, the Webb City girls hosting a border battle tonight against Pittsburgh. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
The Webb City girls are at home tonight for a border battle against the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons. And Webb City is an even 4-4 coming into the night. On the other side, Pittsburgh aiming for their first win of the season this evening. Webb City gets off to a hot start. Sammy Mancini working inside. Turns and scores. Mancini scores 17 tonight for the Cards. Still in the first, Mia Robbins steals. Gets it ahead to Kate Brownfield. Huge night for Kate Brownfield. Game high 27 points. Go along with 7 rebounds. Izzy Lopez also in double figures tonight for the Cardinals. Corner 3 here for Lopez. She scores 13. Webb City in control, but second quarter here, Desi Gorley gets the floater to go for Pittsburgh. It's the Dragons' first field goal of the game. Then right before half, Jackie Hall beats the buzzer with the 3. Hall leads Pittsburgh with 19 points, but Webb City cruises in the end tonight 77-29. Pittsburgh State linebacker P.J. Sarwinski is a nominee for the 2022 Cliff Harris Award. That award goes to the nation's best small college defensive player among Division II, Division III, and NAIA colleges and universities. The Galena High School product led the Gorillas with 84 tackles this season, including 10.5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. Sarwinski is a 2-time first-team All-MIAA selection and a 2-time All-American for Pittsburgh State. Staying with PSU football, the final AFCA Division II national rankings are out today. The Gorillas finished the season as the 5th-ranked team in the nation. Pitt State was 12-1 overall this season, including going 11-0 in the regular season, claiming the outright MIAA championship. It's their first MIAA title since 2014. Their season ended in the second round of the playoffs, falling 17-14 to the eventual national champion Ferris State. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Houston Texans in overtime on Sunday afternoon, 30-24. And with that win, the Chiefs have earned their 7th straight AFC West division title. And they had to work for it, but if you looked at the box score, it wasn't really that close. The Chiefs racked up 502 total yards compared to just 219 for Houston, had 33 first downs to Houston's 18. That was another big day for running back Jerick McKinnon. He had 70 yards and a touchdown through the air, to go along with 52 rushing yards and the game-winning touchdown in overtime.
We were coming into the huddle, and, obviously we were running a 4-minute ball, and they're stacking the box, so it was a little tough. And, Pat was like, he looked at me, he said, 2 hands on the ball, let's go. I said, I'm about to score. And Juju looked at me, he said, I got your block, bro. Just when you find me when you get out there. And it worked out exactly like that. I made it to the second level, and I literally ran off of Juju's block and was able to score. So, it's just crazy. It worked out like that, man. Power of the time, man. It's crazy.
And that's a look at sports. We're back after this.
It was the Netflix show that had everyone talking during the COVID shutdowns. Tiger King. Fox Business Network's Ashley Webster talked to one of the stars about new legislation that was passed by the Senate, which is going to prohibit private ownership of big cats.
Why is it that someone in the United States can pretty easily buy a tiger, a lion, a big cat that don't belong in suburban settings, don't belong in those types of settings? Up until now, it's been pretty easy for these people to just, hey, I want a tiger, I'm going to go buy one, right?
Up until the Big Cat Public Safety Act, people could buy and sell these cats across state lines. They did it with cash, and that way it wasn't traceable, even though that was illegal to do it across state lines. But now that the Big Cat Public Safety Act has passed, they won't be able to sell them or trade them across state lines or even possess them unless they have a USDA license.
Why has it taken so long? It seems to me an obvious law, but it's taken a long time, right?
It has taken way too long to get this law passed, and I don't understand why, because there have been over 700 incidents where people have been killed or mauled or cats have escaped, and there's just no excuse for it. These are not native cats. They don't belong in cages. They certainly don't belong in private hands.
So will this law be able to prevent that?
This law will prevent the private ownership of these cats. The people who have them can keep them, but they never keep them past adulthood. So as soon as those cats end up going out to sanctuaries in the next 5 years or so, this entire problem in the United States will be over.
Do you think the whole Tiger King chaos helped in the long run bring attention to this issue, as strange as it was, and then eventually this law was able to be passed?
For all of the flaws in Tiger King, there was one scene where they were ripping that baby tiger through the wire to use as a pay-to-play prop, and when people saw that, they were outraged. And I heard so many people after that say, these animals don't belong in cages, they belong in the wild. And I was so thankful to hear that, and I think now Congress has heard that.
That's terrific. So obviously this is it's been a passion of yours, but I'm sure the fight doesn't stop here, right?
My passion is to see all wildcats living free. This is the first step to being able to save them in the wild where they belong.
And this is Jasmine, 400-pound tiger that was confiscated from a private owner in Ohio. Just one example of a very big illegal trade in wildlife. In fact, wildlife trafficking is the third largest illegal trade behind drugs and weapons. And it's hoped this new federal law will put a big dent in that trade and protect beautiful animals just like Jasmine.
All right, all you cool cats and kittens, coming up. Going to check out this week's Fox TV lineup, which includes some holiday-themed episodes. Holiday-themed Lego building leads the lineup on Fox TV this week. We will look at that and more of what's coming up. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Lots of Lego Masters and encore of a big Hell's Kitchen wedding day. Here's what's hot on Fox.
Let it snow!
Monday is the first of 3 nights of Lego Masters Celebrity Holiday Bricktacular with Robin Thicke, Finesse Mitchell, Cheryl Hines, and the late Leslie Jordan. They pair up with former contestants to compete with holiday-themed challenges, playing for charities of their choice.
So what happens next?
Then it's a replay of 911 with Athena on a personal case, investigating the past disappearance of her childhood friend.
1,000!
Tuesday brings another Lego Masters with a Santa sleigh challenge for the stars.
We got a gunshot wound.
Following that is a replay of The Resident, where multiple doctors at Chastain rush to help a gunshot victim.
Okay, you ready?
Wednesday, it's 2 supersized challenges on a 2-hour Lego Masters Celebrity Holiday Bricktacular finale.
That's right, Trenton and Macy are getting married.
Thursday has encore episodes, starting with a wedding day in Hell's Kitchen for season 20 winner Trenton and his fiancée Macy, and contestants creating a menu for their big day. Then comedies Welcome to Flatch and Call Me Kat round out the night.
Here we go!
Fox Sports brings WWE Friday Night SmackDown to kick off the weekend. And over the weekend, it's a night full of animated comedy Sunday, including holiday-themed festive fun on Family Guy. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of baby elephants at a New York zoo opening Christmas gifts. Hey, little one. Yeah. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.